Hey guys, this is AniMat, and I'm here to talk about the Annie Awards of 2013. Now, the last videos that I've talked about the Annie Awards is mostly regarding about the controversy of how to Train Your Dragon won every single award in the Annie Awards, while it ignored all the other animated films that were released at the time, like Toy Story 3 and Tangled and Despicable Me and all those other films. And personally, I wasn't really happy about it, so I pretty much made a giant rant video about it. And also, I made, a year later, I pretty much did like an aftermath video, like looking at the Annie Awards the following year, how it fixed all its problems, how it made peace with Disney, how it spread out whoever won the awards like accordingly instead of just all to one movie. So pretty much, since there's no major controversy this year, I decided I'm just going to do a small vlog about my thoughts on the winners and all these other things. So it's just going to be a simple video like that. Also, another thing I want to talk about is that I won't be looking too much at the winners of television production, because honestly, I haven't really seen all the animated series that much. The only thing that I know about it is that most of the winners, I think it's like the SpongeBob Christmas special, Gravity Falls, and the How to Train Your Dragon TV series. I'm sure they're pretty good in their own respect. I'm also thinking, if I have the time, I'll check out Gravity Falls sometime, but we'll see what the future holds. But anyways, let's just cut to the chase and mostly focus on the winners of the animated features. And I have to say, I am very satisfied with all the winners. I personally think who should have won actually won, and I'm really glad for all these films. So the following movies that won the Annie Awards are Brave, which won production design and editorial, which that one, like I said, I agree, mostly because Brave is a beautiful, beautiful looking film, and of course it's made by the people at Pixar. It shows, like, they know how to make a movie look good, so I'm not too surprised that Brave actually won a few, even in editing. I mean, Pixar knows how to make a movie, so I'm not surprised that they won one of the basic categories, like editing or music or something like that, but in this case it's editing, so good for them. The second animated film was ParaNorman, which won for Best Character Design and Best Character Animation. Personally, I think in terms of quality in stop motion, I think Laika is the best in the industry. I think even more than Aardman. Like, I will admit, Aardman has its own like simple British cartoony style, but Laika, like, if you look at films like Coraline and ParaNorman, well, it really is good. I mean, I think it is top of the line, I will have to admit. And because of that, I'm happy that it won for character animation, and also thinking about it, I actually do have to agree on its character design, because thinking about it, like, at first glance, it's a weird design. It's a little like distorted, but thinking about it, this is like, as a light horror zombie flick, it actually works. Like, I think the design for ParaNorman, it only works for that film. Like, if you take that design and you put it on something like Brave or the Pirates Band of Misfits, it would feel a little out of place, you know? It wouldn't look right. So, it definitely works for ParaNorman, so I can understand how it got that award. Also, another thing about ParaNorman is that I'm surprised to see that it has such a... I'm starting to find that it has a cult following. Like, I'm not, like... I find it's a great film, but I don't really think it's, like, the best film, like, of the year and stuff like that. I do think that it has some flaws, like, the characters are generic, and some of them are pretty forgettable, and also, most of the jokes don't really work, so... That's what kind of separates me from the entire group, but I can understand that it has a cult following. I do admit, like, the animation is nice. I mean, it won for Best Character Design and Character Animation, and also the story. I think it has the most original story of the year. Well, there is another one, but we'll get to that later. But, and yeah, the next animated film that won the Annie Awards was Rise of the Guardians, which won for Best Animated Effects and Best Storyboarding. Now, like I mentioned in my review, Rise of the Guardians, I think it has the best animation that DreamWorks has to offer. I mean, it is amazing. And with storyboarding and animated effects, it's understandable. I think those are actually the two big reasons. Storyboarding, which I find to be the animation term for cinematography, is just, it works amazingly. Like, it really does help bring us into this big world of, like, Santa's Workshop, or the Tooth Fairy's Lair, or the Easter Bunny's Easter Island. It's such an amazing... Like, they gave us all these great shots, and it really does bring you into the movie. I really do. So yeah, great work on storyboard and also animated effects, which I think is the reason why it has the best animation, is mostly because the animated effects, they had to do a lot of things, like like Jack Frost, like gushing out all the ice. There's also Pitch, who has to bring out all these evil sand horses, and also the Sandman, who has to bring all the sand dreams and stuff like that. It's an amazing film. So with the help of cinematography and animated effects, not only I find it's the best animation that DreamWorks has ever made, I also find that it has the best animation of the year. And finally, last but definitely not least, practically the best actually, is Wreck-It Ralph, which is the big winner of the Annie Awards, leaving with 5 Annies, which are Best Writing, there's Best Music, Best Directing for Rick Moore, there's Best Voice Acting for, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Andy Tudyk? The voice of King Candy, which obviously, I don't think I would have picked any other. I mean, like, it is such a great performance, so good job, Andy. And also, finally, the big one, Best Animated Feature. Now, I don't think I would have picked any other to win Best Animated Feature. Wreck-It Ralph, like ParaNorman, it has an original and great story. You know, I would often criticize in many reviews saying that the story is not that original. It's like this one and that one. A lot of people think that movies nowadays, they don't have original stories anymore, but not really. No, if you look at Wreck-It Ralph and ParaNorman, they both have original stories. Like, people can make an original story exclusively for a movie. It's just sometimes they would mostly pick the lazy route. And Wreck-It Ralph, like it shows, like in the writing, they worked hard to write for that story, and that's what happened. A great movie just came out of it. And also, like, with the help of Rick Moore's directing, and also the music, like it said, you know, even though personally I don't really pay attention much to the story like in a movie unless like I listen to the soundtrack, or if it's a musical then it grabs my attention into the music. Then but okay, like if it wins best music, alright, fine. But yeah, I truly believe that Wreck-It Ralph deserves best animated feature, and pretty much it's gonna be the winner of the best animated feature at the Oscars. You know, usually from what I've heard, the Annies would have a 75% chance in predicting who's going to win at the Oscars in that category. So, like for example, last year Rango won at the Annies, so Rango won for the Oscars. So I think it's going to be the exact same thing for this year. Now, before I go, I just want to talk about the Annie Awards show itself. Now, this year I decided not to really watch the Annie Awards because it actually started really late around my time. I'm in Easter time, and they would start in they would do things in the Pacific time since it's in California and stuff like that. So it was late for me, so I didn't really bother. And honestly, I think it's a good thing that I didn't watch it this year, because from what I've heard, things at the Annie Awards didn't really go well. There were a lot of mistakes that were happening. There were a lot of technical errors, and the speeches, like, I mostly heard they were like either ridiculous or awkward. So it was like a really, really messy show. And the worst thing that happened in the Annies for me is that apparently they read the wrong envelope. Like, they would present like the categories, and then they open the envelope, and it's the wrong envelope. It's like, it's not for that category. You know, it really blows my mind that, like, it's not that they did this mistake. Normally, I would pass it on as like a little accident that happened, but didn't that happen last year? Like, didn't somebody read the envelope and they spent like 3 minutes like not knowing what to do? Like, they just froze on stage? I mean, how can you have this accident happen like twice, like the second year in a row? Is this, you know, is this a tradition? Does this normally happen at the Annies? Like, seriously, Annies, like, whoever's in charge, like, try to organize your crap. Like, I saw on Twitter, like, about an hour into the show, Cartoon Brew was like, they pretty much gave up. They were like, that's it, I'm done. Like, it passed on as completely unprofessional. To think, like, with sponsors like Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and all those big name companies, you'd think that you would get your money's worth for a big show. But you know, if you're gonna pass on, like, if you're gonna make all these mistakes, you know, like, try to, like, all I ask is, please, even though I haven't seen it, and from all the comments I've heard, can you please make it as an award show? I mean, this is not anything. This is the highest achievement for animation. Can you please act as if it is important and not just shrugged off as if this is like a layman's version of the Golden Globes? Can you please just make yourself seem important and try to treat it as if it's important? That's all I'm asking. And that's all I've got for this year's Annie Awards. All I can wish for all the animated films of 2013 to get your game on and to be ready for next year's Annies. And also, for the Annie Awards show, can you please for next year organize your crap a little better? See you later, dudes.
Switch on the sky and the stars glow.